Well, welcome everybody. I'd like to thank you so much for coming tonight. And so what we're going to do, well, first off, I'd like to just start by thanking the Sudbury Performance Group, and we also have the Hilton Garden Inn, of course, which is hosting the premises, and we have the Department of Canadian Heritage. Okay, so I'd like to present my sidekick partner here in crime, Bianca. Hopefully I get the right one here.
I just want to make sure that my face isn't being covered.
So Bianca Ferland. Is it Ferland or Ferland? Because we're both French, eh?
Well, you just met in the parking lot, or what?
Pretty much.
No, we.
How do you say your name?
Leo and I actually have been working for a couple of years now. You're not just gonna throw him under the bus there.
Yeah, I got no memory. It's like the getting older thing there. It's like.
And this is Leo Duchette. How do you
See?
See? I couldn't even see, and I'm French. I didn't even know how to pronounce it. So there we go.
I'm Leo Duquette.
Okay, Duquette.
Yeah.
And it totally is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You got to keep in mind too, we are camera people. We are used to being in behind the camera, not in front of the camera. So this is, yeah.
All right. So we're going to be talking about a few platforms, pretty much, because I know like everybody's got different expectations of what they like to do. The main reason we're kind of doing this is really to show if you wanted to record a band or yourself as a band, but it translates pretty much to any event platform.
Or anything to do online. So if you are into blogging or gaming or anything that online where you're interacting with a crowd online, you have come to the right place.
So there are obviously some different platforms that you'll see online, because I know Quentin's quite used to OBS using Twitch because he's a gamer and likes to make money. I don't know how you do it, but you do it.
Dollars and dollars.
Dollars and dollars. And then, of course, we'll be talking about, there's three platforms. The first one will be quick, and it's basically just using your phone. And then the other two is going to be, Bianca's going to be talking about Switcher Studio, and I will be talking about the YOLO Box Pro. And YOLO Box, it's the company's YOLO Live. They actually have like a few of them. And but like I said, there's other companies that do almost kind of like the same type of stuff. But from my experience, these are good for portable situations. The other ones, there's always been some limitations. There's been some stuff that kind of work, but then you find out you have to pay so much for each extra feature and all that. So,
or you go and you invest in something that's being advertised on YouTube through Roland, like the Aerocaster, and it's not user-friendly. So everything that we're showing you today is very, very user-friendly. So it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or intermediate.
Yeah, and I mean, we got lots of equipment here, but we're trying to show like a gamut of like options of, especially like later on, because it's going to be more because it's for the bands and music. There's so many things you got to do, and we'll be both talking about our experiences, because Bianca and I were actually recording for the Sudbury Performance Group some of the presentations that Mark had set up. I guess I should thank Mark Manisto as well from the Sudbury Performance Group. That's right here.
Thank you, Mark.
And
So if we're not in a band, are we in the wrong room?
No, not at all. Because everything that we're doing when it comes to live streaming, we're making sure that the video and the audio is at high quality. So it doesn't matter if it's for a live band or if it's for yourself talking about your brand or your business. This can easily transition into that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then we'll get you guys involved in after for questions and whatnot. So there's lots of stuff, we're not going to be able to cover for everything. There's just so many possibilities, and I'm sure there's some stuff we wouldn't even think of ourselves, And it's like, from experience, from one gig to the next, it's been different every time. Like every band I've dealt with so far, they've had a different type of setup for equipment, and I've had to, you have 5 minutes to set up. You don't have, because they got to be ready by a certain time, so you get there and you're waiting. So
and then if you're also doing a band, you know how they do sound check. Well, if you are planning to live stream a band, you also have to do a video and sound check again just for the band. So there's just those extra steps that we have to take. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes. There's always a solution.
Yeah. So we're going to break it up in a few sections just to give you an idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of compare the two platforms, or three platforms really, and then we're going to after that we're going to do a quick talk about lighting. So that's not going to be a really big thing. And then there's like we're going to actually start doing the connections for the audio separately, and then the last thing will be the actual streaming out type of thing. So they're all totally different sections, like of technicality type of thing.
Because there's different ways to stream as well. So you can do multi-streaming or just go directly to Facebook. So depending on whatnot.
Cool. Well, we'll start with the simplest one. So for anybody that's never streamed whatsoever before, and I mean, I have to admit, like I've been working on computers forever, but I've seen the whole gamut from beginning to end. So you know, it's daunting trying to relearn stuff every time because you're still keeping in your mind what you learned 30 years ago. So, but it's gotten so much easier, and like for people like her that are so young, they got no issues with that. They grew up with this. It's no big deal. But I'm just going to switch cameras here, and we've got the big screen there too. So hopefully you'll be able to see. Not too bad here. Okay. So this is just my Facebook account. So I want to do you want to do a live stream of your band as long as you're hooked up to Facebook. And on top right, see where there's a plus. You just see live. And I guess it helps if I have the camera. And technically you hit go live, and that's it.
And
it's streaming on your account.
Right away.
Yeah, it's streaming on your account. So if somebody goes to your Facebook page, and correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but if they go on your Facebook page, they will see this right away.
So actually, whenever I do a live stream through the Coulson, everybody, so I work on behalf of the Coulson. I do all their live streaming, all their photography. I'm basically the glue. Anyways, so when we do our live streaming through our account, so if you have a Facebook account, depending how many likes you have, every single person that likes your page will get a notification that you're going live. So that's why at the beginning of the pandemic, every time when we would go live, we would have like over 100K views because everybody that was sitting at home got a notification and they opened up their phone. Everybody, 90% of everybody has a phone and 80% of the population has Facebook. So that's very, very easy to go live stream on Facebook like that. Mm-hmm. And I just want to show something, just in case if you're not doing it on your personal page here, I just want to show you that.
Bring it down just a bit so it'll focus.
Oh, sorry. So we're going to go down to, it's not going to work. But you would do the same thing. So instead of going on your personal Facebook account, you would go on your, let me just turn off my Wi-Fi, see if that helps. You would go onto your business account. That's what I'm trying to do here. So when you go onto your business account, you would do the same thing that Leo showed you. So you would go into what's on your mind. You would look for the live notification, the live icon. You click that and you're ready to go live. Now you can go like this, or you can put it on a tripod like that. I would definitely recommend to do that. For example, I was watching the city of Sudbury do a live stream directly on their Facebook, and somebody was just holding the phone like this and it just kept falling over.
Yeah.
that you're gonna lose your viewers. So make sure you just have it on a tripod, and also another thing too, while I'm thinking of it, just make sure that it's straight. All right, and then you're good to go. Once it's set, it's very easy.
And my personal pet peeve, horizontal. I can't stand the vertical video because I know people watch it vertically after for TikTok, but for video, you need
go like
wide.
This. So if you're going live on Instagram, that is a different platform. TikTok is going to be this portrait story mode. So you would go like this, but when you're going live on YouTube or Facebook, you do want to go on the landscape mode. So like this. Yes.
All right. Yes.
And it's very fundamental because I don't know anything.
But so you say you're doing it live, so then we get notification. When I go through Facebook, I may not go to News Kent or Bank app. I may be just scrolling through.
And it might pop up.
Yeah, but I guess they have to be on your network to
But
get the,
you'd be my friend.
yeah.
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 And also, before you go live, when you have the option, when the video pops up and there's wording, please write your caption before you go live, so then people know what you're live streaming. Write it out, do your tags first, do any Instagrams. So make sure that the caption for the video is already ready before you click live. So then that way, everybody that gets a notification, they're gonna see the page and they're gonna say, 21 live at the Colson. So
Good
sorry,
thing.
I'm just gonna
Good
use
thing.
that as a plug-in, free promotion for that venue today. God, I'm such a good
So-
promoter.
Yes.
A little technical question there. I noticed when you shifted to the above cameras there, you're looking at a whole bunch of different visual displays. None of them have video feedback. How do you avoid that?
They have. Sorry, I don't
Like
understand.
they're not, the refresh rate of the screen, is it in exact sync with the refresh rate on the camera?
Well, there's always a delay between the units themselves. Like you see the delay on the switcher itself, but it's coming. It will be good.
Like
Like
I've tried this before, where I point my camera at a screen and you'll actually see a track.
oh, the lines,
Yeah.
the lines. Yeah, the refresh rate. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. What happens is the it kind of reminds me. Remember the old movies where you used to watch the wagon wheels, and then the wheels always looked like they were going backwards. Well, what would happen is like they would shoot film at 24 frames per second, so each frame would like pick the spokes at a certain speed, but because they were at 24 frames a second, it almost looked like they were going backwards because it's taking individual pictures like that. So what happens with a video screen, almost the same thing happens. The refresh rate, you kind of have to match it to the screen itself. I think usually 60 hertz is about standard for to do that. I know LCD displays are awful for that. Like I remember, where they have those big wall displays. Those are hard to do. Yeah, but what? Yeah.
So,
What's the fix or the better?
what's the equation between hertz and frames per second?
So hertz are the amount of frames that are able to be displayed on the screen. So
Yeah, the hertz is like I guess it's the light itself, refreshing. It's not necessarily the frames, so it's the actual screen itself that's because sometimes, like even when I've shot concerts, they have those LED lights, and they actually flicker. Yeah, because like lights themselves, when you go to dim them, if you were to take a slow motion of those lights, they're not actually just dimming; they're actually like flashing. So they're flashing at a certain speed, so it looks like they're dimmer. It's really weird. With your iPhone there, if you do slow motion and you pick LED lights, you'll see that effect, especially Christmas lights. Those were good.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like you say you type in the caption before you do your live stream. You do type in the caption keep it on your phone.
Yeah, yeah. So then that way, when you go live, everybody has a notification that follows that page that knows what topic the live feed is about. So then it gives them more of a reason to.
And what happens if I'm in the bush and I want to film a little sequence of something, but there's no Wi-Fi? Can you store that and then do it live when you come back in?
Yeah. So a lot of the times, Leo does this a lot, and where you can record and then broadcast it where it looks like it's live. So a couple times we did that during the lockdowns for performance group at the Colson. We did a live recording because at that time when we would go live, the audio, the way that it sounded inside the venue didn't sound the way that it was supposed to.
I was just gonna say we should make this a drinking game every time you mention Colson.
Oh my gosh. I'm having anxiety talking about this audio thing. But what you would hear inside the venue is not what you would hear in the live stream. So so what we would do, we would record here. My husband's
Yeah.
a sound tech. He would master it. Then I would line it up and line up the audio with the video and then broadcast it. So then it's still live. So everybody would get a notification. Everybody was in lockdown, so they didn't know if it was live or
Yeah,
not.
that's the section we're
But
gonna
you can
actually get
do
into.
broadcasting as well in a live form.
Is it tricky to line up video and audio though?
No.
No,
Not at all.
no.
No, with software nowadays, it's super easy. It used to be a pain. That's why they always had the clicker. Like, I must be really old. I know all this old stuff. That's why they had the clicker, because then they'd be able to like sync up the video and the audio to
Do you know
that
how
clicker.
I do it? I do it with the drum.
Yeah. Or a lot of times you're watching somebody like he's got his hand up in the air and you're trying to line it up.
Yeah.
But the software now actually has a synchronize, so it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll start talking about the differences a bit right now because a lot of these questions are a lot of this stuff, especially for audio later, is going to be, this is pretty much why all this equipment's here is because of the audio, because that's been more of the pain. the video's been pretty easy. Again, we're going to be talking mostly, like we already talked about the phone, but it's going to be Switcher Studio and the YOLO Box Pro. So I have the YOLO Box Pro here, and Bianca has the Switcher Studio. Okay, so you're probably asking yourself right now, okay, so which one's better? Or there's nothing really better one or the other, but I find depending what you already have and how much money you already have. So I'll talk about just the one disadvantage I have for the Switcher Studio is you have to pay $50 a month for a service. Whereas with the YOLO Box Pro, you don't have to pay for that. Okay. So that's just an iPad. And you can actually work it on the iPhone as well. So, but it's hard to do your switching. When you're doing the live stuff,
so you can
especially,
use it on a phone
it's
as
kind of nice to have the iPad because you've got so much, more visual control about what you see and whatnot.
So Switcher is iOS based. It is an Apple product.
Yep.
So you need either mobile or iPad. It does not work with the new iMacs, and it does not work with a Mac Pro or like a computer or anything like that. But it does work with their phones and with their iPads, and it's completely wireless communication.
Whereas the YOLO Box, everything's wired in. And the advantage I find for the YOLO Box is the fact that you can use your DSLR camera if you want.
So I could plug in my
Yeah.
professional photography camera.
Yeah.
So if you have a photography camera at home, like a dinky DSLR, and if it has the,
HDMI output.
I'll just,
There's going to be a lot of names with letters and stuff like that, and don't ask me what they mean. And
I suck. There we go.
yeah,
So you'll see that symbol there.
yeah.
Sorry about the
That's okay.
focusing, guys.
Just bring it lower. I'll probably be able to see it.
So
Anyways,
it's-
I could always put an image online after.
But when you guys come up to the table, I
Yeah.
can show you in person.
Yeah.
So you can use these cameras. You can use the camcorders like Leo has.
Yeah, and I find the advantage that the YOLO Box has, it's almost going to be like a face-off we're going to be doing pretty much here. I've worked with this one as well, and I like it. It's got a lot of, I don't want to call it eye candy, but it's got more eye candy stuff than the YOLO Box does. I find this one's more straightforward, but for a live stream, a lot of times that's what you want. You just want to do, switch cameras. And like I said, with the cameras, the advantage with that is, especially if you have a DSLR with a nice lens on it, you can really play with the depth of field. So you get that kind of everything in the background's blurry and stuff like that. Whereas with the phones and the video camera, you can't really get that as much. So, and as well with the iPhones is once your phones are kind of set up, that's where they are. So you probably need 2 or 3. You can zoom in and out, but it becomes a digital zoom as compared to a video camera where you can really zoom in. So I mean, I've done some recordings where I actually just have 2 cameras. You always have one that's wide to get the whole group. And I guess I should have us instead of my hands there. I don't have nice hands for this. And so if you have a wide shot to see the band, for example, and then guitar solos coming up, then you have your other camera. You can zoom it in, then you switch, type of thing. So what I'll do is, hopefully this will work here.
How are the channels coming into the switcher? All Wi-Fi?
Yeah, with I'll talk about the YOLO Box first, and then I'll get Bianca to talk
I'm
about that.
excited to jump in with my switcher. I'm just gonna pipe in though. I am going to be upgrading to a YOLO as well. It's just more expensive. Well, it's not that it's more expensive. It's an initial cost. The switcher is a monthly cost. So overall, with the amount of times that I am using the switcher now, I am going to be investing in a YOLO, especially if I already have some equipment that I already can
Yeah.
plug in that I didn't know. Thank you, Leo.
And I should mention the prices. You know, like I said, depending on what you have already, is pretty much what's going to dictate what you want to do with this stuff. Because I do video and I do photography and all that, I happen to have a lot of the photography stuff. So for me, it just made more sense to use the video cameras. And if you already just have an iPad and an extra phone, because the nice thing too is you can get somebody's, well, I'm talking about yourself already, but if you have like some friends at the bar, you can borrow their phones.
Say it.
And then do it. And what?
At the Colson.
At
The Colson.
So there's been times where I've done a live stream and we'll pretend we're drinking at the Colson. Sambuca.
Yeah.
So sometimes when we would do live streaming, sometimes I would only have a certain amount of iPhones, and knowing that the band might have, hey, if you guys have an extra phone that you don't want to use, can I set it up? They just have to download the app, and I click remote, and it connects. It all has to be connected to the same Wi-Fi network, but that's something we're going to get into. That's a whole thing.
With the YOLO box, it actually has 3 HDMI connectors. So that's a standard connector for a video camera and a DSLR. And there's one USB connector as well. And that one you can plug in like your webcams. You can, I think you can use your computer to hook through it. I've actually got my laptop hooked through it right now as well. And I'm actually got 2 YOLO boxes tethered together. So I've got my signal coming out to another YOLO box just to be able to project that over there. I didn't buy them. I didn't buy them. And so essentially, you plug them into the back, and I guess I'll show. I'm gonna take this out here. Okay, so you should see my screen now. And so yeah, basically once you plug them in, they just show up. So what you see right now are the 2 cameras and my laptop showing up.
Hey, Leo, what are these called?
Oh, well, I'll get to that.
Oh,
I'm so glad
okay.
you asked.
Those little graphics.
Yeah, so now we'll start. Well, just before I do that, all you do, like you're not going to see my finger there, but I'm going to click on the one that says HDMI 2 right now, and you'll see the thing on top. So that's switching right now. So what people see is what you see on the top screen. And then if I want to see the above camera, just click on that. So you see that nice slow transition that's going on. Now, if you see on the bottom here, I can go to the little gear on the right, and there's I always forget what it's video source transitions. Click on that. Then you can pick the type of transition you want. So then, when you go to the next one, it gives you a different one.
Do you have the star?
I don't have the star.
Oh, I have the
Or
star.
Do I? No,
you have the cube.
I got nothing fancy.
I love those 80s transitions,
See?
you know, the star.
Yeah, but you know, that reminds me of like when you had Microsoft Word and it had to be underlined, strike through, red, purple. It looked like a clown threw up on your page there. So I like to go back to the basics. So I like the fade. And
I also use the fade. I find the fade is just, yes. Oh, and then I see here that you can control the duration. So
That's right.
Sometimes I will play with that depending on what camera angles I'm changing to or
That's right.
what graphic I'm changing to.
so now we go back to our little screens at the beginning. So the system comes with what they call already lower thirds. That's, you know, you always have your name on the bottom, somebody talks and all that. So for example, but in this case, I actually made the graphics ahead of time in Photoshop so that, you know, when I'm talking, I just click on that. My name pops up on the bottom with my little logo.
Well, how about when I talk?
Oh, when you talk, then yours is like
well.
a nice lighter shade of that blue or green.
Thank you, Leo. That's so kind of you.
And then if we both are talking, then I got 2 of
well,
those.
hello.
So this is stuff that I prepared ahead of time. So if you know you're going to, it's kind of like trying to create a PowerPoint presentation essentially, but you're doing it live, right? And so you can kind of get your slides ready as images inside, and then you could go in where you see the plus on the bottom right. And there's a little card in the YOLO box itself underneath, a SD card. And from there you can just go image overlay, and it reads like you've pre-copied it on your card, and then you can just download the image on there. You can actually even no, with this one you can only do images.
You can also add in like a commercial, let's say.
Yeah, there's
Can
video.
we pre-make a video and then put it in there?
That's right. The difference with this one is instead of having the like the overlay like this, well, before Yeah, okay, I'll show that anyways. So on the bottom right, you'll see where it says add video with a plus. If I click there, these are the options that you have. So local video 1, local video 2 would be clips that you downloaded. So for example, I'll go to local video 1, and see this is stuff that we're recording right now.
What's that concert one?
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
And then I go down,
I kind of want to see that.
and so there it is, and I click that, and it's going to show
Oh,
video.
cool.
I have no audio on this on video right now, so.
So when I was doing the live streams during the lockdowns with Sudbury Performance Group, sometimes when there was a band changeover, I didn't want to click off the live stream. I still wanted to keep it there. So when the band is changing over, or let's just say you have speakers that are changing over, you could put on a commercial. So that's what I did. I made a commercial to promote upcoming events or other live shows that we had coming up. So this, if you're doing a live stream for your business or whatnot, if you already have a commercial, you can start your live stream with that and then start speaking. So there's great ways to integrate videos and also photos. So Leo, if you don't mind showing the split screens. So this is something that I use a lot. Split screen, sometimes I'll just have a poster and then I'll have the band performing and then I'll have the poster pop up into that split screen. Or sometimes I'll have another angle pop up into those split screens.
You caught me by surprise.
I
on
caught
this
you
one.
by surprise, eh? That's all
I'm
right.
trying to remember how to do that.
You went into your S card.
Yeah, but there was like there's a specific setup.
No.
No,
Oh gosh.
can't remember now.
Is it in here?
I'm gonna be editing that out anyways. Yeah, because I looked at it last night, but I think.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, there.
Oh,
there you
see,
go.
so it is user friendly. This is the first time I've ever touched YOLO Box. So on the top row here, where you see multi views, those can be great. You can put in product pictures. You can, for instance, if you're a gamer, you can have the game and then put yourself in the corner.
Because that's a picture-in-picture would be the standard.
Yeah,
where you have
picture-in-picture.
that, and you pick your sources. So you would have, let's say, us, and then the other one. Oh, sorry. Pick one. Go next. Then pick the next one. Next, and then you can see if I just click and drag on it, I can move this wherever I want on the screen.
Yeah.
Because usually you'll have, like, let's say somebody talking in that corner, and then there's like little shapes you can use to put in there.
What? You could do shapes? I can't do shapes.
See, well, there's advantages to one, disadvantages to the other one. And what else? Then you can change the border color. There's like always extra things you can do to this stuff. I mean, I'm not going to go through every detail because there's like a million videos that go through that. We really want to keep it to the how to get from beginning to end without losing your mind, hopefully.
So
Okay, and then I guess for you, I guess I'll put this one now. So hopefully you can see your screen a lot better.
I can mirror it to that.
No, I won't worry.
Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, so
Here,
this
I'll
is
hold it while you.
okay. So this is switcher here, and if you see, there's a iPhone in the back, in the corner here, and then there's another iPhone that's pointing to us, and that's swiping it. Now it's pointing to us, and the main screen, the main display on the switcher kind of works like when you're holding an iPhone. So if you want to click in autofocus, you can't see it, but it's auto focusing. So you could do that by clicking it. On the screen itself, you can zoom in and out, which I love.
But I have to say though, it's a digital zoom though.
It's not, it's not smooth, but
Yeah.
anyways, sometimes what I'll do, instead of doing it on there while it's live, I'll go to the tripod and I'll zoom in. And then when I switch it, it just looks a little nicer.
Yeah, and if
so
I-
there's just different troubleshootings that I've done.
And can't you with this one as well, like, let's say zoom in, but make that a separate scene? I think you can. I think I've done it before where you can actually zoom in, make it a scene, and then zoom out, make that another scene, then you're able to just back and forth. But like I said,
think
we're not
so.
gonna do
so.
that there.
But this also has overlays, overlays.
Yeah.
So there you'll see there's one, and then we'll have another one that says whatnot, and you could put in your logos.
And these you edit all on here as well, like for
And then-
lower thirds.
And then the other thing too is I've uploaded sound clips. So for instance, when we were in lockdowns and there was no crowd, I had this fake crowd. Yeah, an applause. Woo! And then, you know, there's other ones that I've added in. Live stream starting soon. And then there's one, I wish you can hear it. My husband made me download it. It says madness. Right, Mark?
And the thing that these both these systems have is actually auto switching. So you can actually,
Yeah.
with mine, you can actually set the first camera to, you know, be on for like 2 minutes, and then they'll switch to, and you know, in case you don't want to be touching it all the time, because especially for bands, what happens is they want to videotape themselves, and what they'll do is they'll just set it up, and then they just hit auto, and then they could just play not work, because you can't play and be switching at the same time.
So the YOLO does that as well?
Yep.
Okay, so the switcher does that as well, and sometimes, because I am the glue, if I am inside that venue, sometimes I get pulled aside. So I need to put the cameras on auto. So I have to walk away.
Yep.
And it's typically, you cannot walk away if you're doing a broadcast, right? So it's nice when you're using a system like this for yourself. You just press it on auto and the camera's on you. It's time to just do the show and not worry about what's switching and whatnot. The only thing I would advise though, because we are using iPhones, you'll see that all my iPhones here are plugged in. So I have power banks. Power banks tend to be the easiest thing. Or you can directly plug it into a cable, but that's the one thing is that I needed a power source. Because you're live streaming and using the cameras, it's going to take a lot more juice, and you want to make sure that it's at its full power, full charge. So full charge, so then it doesn't lag at all. And should I start going into how to get them to connect and communicate?
The phones, yeah.
When you put it on auto, can you put on, like, you go away from different scenes and really, you put on a timer so it'll go. So one thing longer than the other thing can go back and forth?
No, so you can only set, like I typically keep it at 12 to 15 seconds, and I just click auto and I'll pick the transition I want, and it will between each video. And I've done 6 cameras with switcher. So I've done 6 iPhones and it will switch. Now the only thing is that these are not wired in. So when they're communicating, you can have a lagging issue. This is something that I went through and I broke down and I actually cried over, because when the cameras aren't communicating and you're in between of a live stream, you just want to, you know, do it because you have a crowd that's waiting. You have an audience. You don't want to keep them waiting. You want to make sure it's done properly. So this is something that I have to say, if you are interested in switcher, please invest in a router. You can go get a router at Best Buy, Staples or whatnot, or even you can go to the thrift store. You're not going to get the best quality, but as long as you have something that's going to communicate, but I would definitely say keep it at 5G, because depending where you are, like a bar, the more people that walk in with a cell phone sitting at a 2.4 hertz, it's going to create lagging. So all of a sudden, I'm like, this, you know?
And the reasoning behind having the router itself is that all your cameras are connected to that specific unit, and then you would go out to the local network. You know, you probably could get a cable, hook it up to their to the venue's internet type of thing.
So right now I am only using the router's Wi-Fi. I'm not connected to the internet, but if I was doing a gig somewhere where I need internet, like the Colson, I say, hey, where's your router? And I plug it in directly into this. I make myself a private network that no one can log into, and that's how my cameras are communicating. I have to make sure that the switcher that's controlling it is connected to the Wi-Fi, including the phones. So this is just the main thing is sometimes you're all, for instance, sometimes I'm all set up, and I'm like, why is it not communicating? It's because they're not on the same Wi-Fi network. And it's preferred that it's on 5G.
Yeah, and if I have any words of advice, if you have another phone with you, like have it somewhere in the back recording.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing Wi-Fi, a live stream or something like that, and any of this happens, and you're streaming to Facebook, then you can take out your phone and stream the rest of the event. At least you won't lose what's going on. Because I tend to do more of like recording. Like I've actually got the cameras recording right now as I'm switching as well, because then I'll be able to go home and then I could do another edit if I need to. So because for streaming, of course, you're going to see all the ugly mistakes we make and all that. And then if you want to clean it up after, I want to add, put some pictures on it when she, like when you walked away type of thing. Like, ooh, I didn't have a camera for that.
So Switcher actually has a mode within it that's called director mode. Yeah. So when you go into this, if you bring it home, it's very easy friendly. Just keep clicking. Nothing's going to break. What was I just talking about? I already lost.
Director mode.
Oh, yeah, director mode. So when you go into director mode, it won't allow me. Okay.
Make it bigger? Yeah, I think I can actually make it bigger.
So when you go into director mode, here, it allows each phone to do its own recording. So it saves its videos separately. So it will save what it's recording on the iPad when I'm live streaming. It will save that in a file, but it will also, if you click director mode, it will also make a file for that phone and that phone with its audio. So if I want to, change up the angles for whatever reason and rebroadcast it, I can do that. So it's not something that I use very often, but there is a director mode on there.
Now, if for the router, if say you were a band that had a cube that ran off of
and
Wi-Fi stuff, and you had a digital mixer, could you use the same router?
That's a good question. No, you can't. Okay, so so my husband has a router for his soundboard because his soundboard is digital. Yeah. So he's got his own Wi-Fi network, and if I hop on that, all of a sudden it starts to lag the sound. And then my cameras start to lag. So he needs his own network, and I need my own network.
And we actually did a show with the Subby Performance Group once, where because it's digital as well, using the Wi-Fi, and I brought in the switcher studio. The second I turned it on, you could see all the bandwidth drop on the thing. So he says, it might shut my audio right off because it's taking up too much bandwidth. So things like that you got to watch. You got to.
And when you're using the switcher, before you go live, when you type in the caption and stuff like that, it allows you to do a speed test. Please, please, please do a speed test. Even if you're not using this and you're using something else, if it gives you the option to do a speed test, please do a speed test. It will help let you know what's going on. Basically, if it's not a good speed, don't go live. Try to figure out what's bringing the frequency.
And I have some numbers. Once we get to this actual streaming portion there, I got a couple of numbers there that kind of talk a bit about it. But if anything you're going to get from this, get there early or the day before. Make friends with the sound guy.
Yes.
Buy him a beer.
Even if you're dating him, it doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work.
Because I'll tell you right now.
Don't tell Steve.
When you get there and you ask for a connection from them, they don't particularly have a lot of time. If they know ahead of time you're coming over, that's fine. But make friends with them. Be there ahead of time. Because you're going to want to test stuff. So, which basically means test as much as you can, because you can test till you're blue in the face at home. And then you get to a spot, and because you get the Wi-Fi issue where everything all of a sudden is taken over, you're losing a lot of signal, you forgot something, and bring a flashlight or your phone, because obviously you're doing all this stuff at home with the lights on and all that, and then I don't know how many times you get there and you're like, it's dark, you can't see anything. I even got these little lights I could put around my neck now to do it. Everybody calls me Uncle Gadget because
Mr. Gadget.
I have no kids, so I can buy stuff. And I always have my flashlight around my neck and stuff like that because I can't see anything anymore, and everything's black.
Yeah, all the cords are black.
Yeah, all the cords are black. So then you're trying to find connections and all that.
But I would say it is very important to pre-plan your live stream. I think that really helps to keep viewers engaged, also allow you to kind of have an idea where it's going to begin and end and what the middle is going to be. I would definitely say have an idea what you're going to do for your live stream. Make a little bit of a plan so then when you're live streaming, you're not in a panic. Yeah. So even for myself, if I'm not performing, I still had to brainstorm, okay, this is going to happen. Oh my gosh, then the changeover. What do I have to do in that time? Oh, a commercial. Oh, another thing too, if you're using music, make sure that it's copyrighted music, especially if you're going live on Facebook. So for instance, like when bands are going live, they don't get flagged, but when they're using like a track, they'll get flagged.
It'll be different
21.
It'll be different for Facebook as it is for YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, I think you just can't monetize it.
That's correct.
So it'll give you a warning, you know, when you go to upload. So it's not going to stop your signal, but Facebook will stop.
Facebook will in some cases delete your video, silence some of the video. So just make sure that you're using copyrighted, like free copyright music.
Yeah. But even that stuff sometimes gets a little warning, and because I have access to copy.
Or better yet, if you have a friend that's a local musician, ask them if you can use their music. Just make sure they're not signed with a big record company, so then it gets flagged. But sometimes that's what we do. We'll use local musicians. We'll use their music, and if you are using their music, don't be shy to put in a plug for them. But when you're using local music, you'll have less of a flagging issue.
So I think we'll stop it here as far as the switchers, controls. There's there's a lot other graphic features and stuff like that, but I think people are gonna really play more with it. But I think our purpose today was really just to show how to connect the machine together. So if you guys got questions right now, not on the audio and not on the streaming yet, because we're going to talk a bit about it, but if there's something technical you kind of want to know if it can do it or not, we'll be happy to.
So my first question is the USB port on YOLO, is it expandable?
To add more cameras?
USB expander, can I have like 4 devices?
Could you plug this in there, Leo?
Yeah.
You can, but then the problem is that has to switch your signals.
Because will it be able to detect that each individually? Okay.
No. That's where you would need, and that's he mentioned earlier the ATEM system, which is from Blackmagic, and that was more high end. You can record the video straight to the box, but you need an extra computer, you need an extra monitor. Everything's extra.
Yeah.
But it's made it's got tactile buttons on it to switch. But some guys actually get that ATEM, ATEM by Blackmagic Studio, and they'll actually put that into one HDMI input, because this one has 3, like I said, HDMI and 1 USB, but they'll actually have an ATEM to have 3 or 4 more cameras, so they'll be switching constantly through here, and then they have the other 2 or 3 inputs.
I have a question, just because it's something that I haven't used. So you know how these are HDMI?
Yeah.
You know how you can get the switcher and then you can press the button? Could you do something like that?
The switcher with a button, yeah. I've never seen those.
I wonder how it would lag. Anyways, I was just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Something that I would try.
And then
those HDMI switchers, maybe switch it on that. And just make sure that the video's not clicked on it, because it's not going to be a nice transition. That's all.
And talking about, this thing has a USB input, because that was the thing about OBS. A lot of people say, well, why can't I just use OBS? If you're familiar with it, well, OBS basically you have USB inputs, and that's it.
Yes.
So you could put 1, maybe 2 cameras, and then your FaceTime and your
and
your
then you
FaceTime
need a
camera.
computer. You need a monitor. We almost thought about going OBS over at the Coulson, and the only reason why now I forgot what I was gonna say. The only reason why we didn't is that I guess it was just the user friendly, and that it wasn't user friendly to automate. You can automate it. I've been told it's not a wormhole that I wanted to get into, but when you have something like a YOLO box or a switcher that's going to do the auto transition.
Yeah. Well, and this is really made to be what they call like videography run and gun. You want to be able to get there. A lot of people that do weddings, what they'll do is they'll have the 1 tripod, cameras on top. They'll actually put the YOLO box or the switcher on top of the camera, and then you get these little. I don't know if you could see. We'll see on top here. We got these little things, or little hooks you can hook up anywhere and put your camera on there, and they have everything basically sitting up on their tripod. Then they're done, and they'll run away, and they're done.
So sometimes, actually, that's what I'll do. I have this, and I have this. So these are called eye clips. I hope none of you guys left this at the bar.
I'm gonna have to go look at that lost and found box or something.
So that's what I bought. So this one holds a phone. So it's called an eye clip. And what I'll do, this is my
I was
light,
switching so you could put it on there.
and I'll put this on my light, and this will hold my switcher. So this holds my switcher. This holds my camera to do a live stream. So if you don't have a ring light, or if you have a ring light, now you can easily clip on an iPad and you can control it. So if you see here,
What does the switcher look like?
let me bring it over to you before so I'm using the iPad as the switcher, but you can use a phone as well. So if you got two phones, like Kevin Gates, you can easily do that. So what I'll do a lot of the times, if it's a smaller venue, I'll do my live streaming directly like that.
Yep.
And then I'll have my video here, and my light, especially light is important. The more light you have, the less pixelated your subject will look.
And then, for example,
You're standing right now with the.
So usually I can stand here, or sometimes I'll just click auto, and I'll just step away and let it do its thing, and I'll just keep an eye on the cameras. I can mingle at the event. I could do my event photography, because I do photography as well. So sometimes when I'm live streaming and do this, let it do its thing, and then I could go and do my photography at the same time, and I can keep an eye on that. So I'm able to multitask. So I make it work for me. If I can make it work for me in this way, could you imagine how each individual person here can make it work for you? So
the one thing I will mention though, with the by putting everything on the stand, and that happened to me last time, is every time you go to switch, camera shakes, camera shakes, camera shakes. So I would always suggest put your switcher on a table separate. You can use a music stand or something like that, so it won't affect the camera's movement and whatnot.
Yeah. So sometimes, if it's something that I'm not constantly touching, and if it's just auto, then I'll just leave it like that. But that's the thing, is that every time when you touch this, it's gonna shake. And different cameras, different iPhones will have different stabilizers in it. So I have one of the newest ones, Aleo, we did the test.
Yeah.
So I had all 5 cameras. The newest one that I have, I think it's I'm lost on the
13
numbers.
or 14 now, eh?
13, I think it's a 13. It doesn't shake. I was on top of a sub at the place. You guys know how loud it is, how shaky it is there. And it was right on top of the base.
My drink's empty.
And it did not, the stabilizer was amazing. So the better quality phone you have, depending on the music, the environment, if there's blasting, you want to use the newest one, so then it prevents stabilizing.
Or a stabilizer. You can get the inexpensive. Because I did the same thing where I just had the phone by the speaker and it rattled, and you don't really notice it when you get the phone on your end. You don't notice it's shaking, but then as soon as you go big, now you see really
Yeah,
rattling.
because sometimes when it's see how small the screen is here. Sometimes I can't see if it's shaking until I see the live feed itself. So it's
Which goes back to the test. And while I got you there, Bianca,
yes,
just to show the difference, just turn the light right off so people can actually see the difference of what the video is going to look like without the light. It's a big difference.
and you don't always need a light like this. Like Mr. Gadgets here showed me these kind of lights that you can get on Amazon.
Stay here, Bianca, if you don't mind, just because we're.
Oh yeah. Well, there's no spotlight. I don't want to.
We got cameras everywhere, but nowhere where you're going.
And these are magnetic.
Yeah.
Are they rechargeable?
Yep.
They are
You
rechargeable.
just plug it in. I got a big one.
Yeah, but look, when I put mine together, see?
Yeah.
See?
And then you can put like party modes on these two, and for the bands if like.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need a big light like this. You can use a ring light. You can get yourself a light like this. They also go on tripods, and yeah,
See.
lights are
Good.
important.
Good. Better. Yeah. All right.
Very bright.
Put those lights back
we're a
on. 'Cause-
party.
Okay, and then while you're putting the light back on, I just kind of want to show this little thing that I got online. Oops. Because I was talking about how the YOLO box has the USB input, and this is just a little capture device. I think I paid like $30 on Amazon, and it has the HDMI, from the camera itself, and then it's just going to a standard USB. Because so this is basically like, because when you put a video camera into a computer or anything else, like if you were to try to plug it needs something in between to kind of code it type of thing. And this little thing does a decent job for like $30.
And that you can also use in OBS.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking into that to connect to my cameras. So I already have professional cameras. Just the only thing is that there's no way to connect these to the switcher program that I have, but I can easily plug it into something like this.
So what was it, the purpose of the video capture thing, what was it?
This one is just called the HDMI video capture.
I'll show it to him.
Pardon me?
How do you use it and what for?
It's like if you have a video camera and you want to put it into a laptop, because you can actually use. Let's say you know how you have your camera on the computer itself. Well, you can use a video camera, plug that in, and then use your video camera, so you'll get a better quality video.
Well, it's in a camera on your computer.
Yeah, so I could take that video camera that's right there, which is a better camera than whatever laptop you would ever have. And like she mentioned earlier, you get the little ring light type of thing that might be your setup and whatnot, and then you could plug that into your laptop if you're using OBS.
And what I love about this is how it's portable. Sometimes I have to jump up on a stage and just double check with the band or the speaker and say, "Are you okay with these angles?" Because everybody's picky, right? And sometimes afterwards, they'll come up after they see the footage and they're like, "Oh, I wish that you moved it there." So that's why I love switchers, that I can unplug it, go and see the subject and say, "Is this good?"
Yeah, and the thing I love about the switcher compared to the YOLO box is you can get angles that you wouldn't get anywhere else. We've actually set it up before behind the drummer. I have like a track that goes up and down or sideways, so you kind of get that motion that you wouldn't, it'd be like somebody like walking around with a camera. It makes it easier to have somebody walking around with a camera too, because it's just a small phone as compared to the video camera. With the YOLO box, I tend to keep everything together close to the sound guy. And because I'm not moving, nobody's in my way, and then because I just want to I just want to capture the show and not do anything too crazy.
So that's the one thing is like when you're using something like a camera and whatnot, you have to make sure that all your wiring, if it's out in the public and stuff like that, that it's down and stuff like that. So that's why I love using the switcher, is that I don't have to worry about that. I just plug it into the power bank.
Well, mine actually uses a power bank as well for power.
Oh, well then, good thing I
So
want one.
This is like my favorite tool here is the just the little the battery. Just the battery pack thing there. You can plug.
Can never get too many power banks.
Yeah, these are the best investments you'll ever have. And then you can charge your phone once run out of juice.
You know what? I'm going to show this off. I found this at the thrift store. I seen this at the dollar store, and it's wireless and it's a power bank. So I could put my phone on top of it and it will charge it. Yeah. Oh my God, what's wrong? Everything's jinx. Oh,
Well,
there
you
we
paid
go.
$1 for it.
See, there we go. So you can never have too many
Yes,
power
yes.
banks.
So, you put the iPad on the stand-up thing, and that is your switcher.
Yeah.
Machine or program, whatever.
Yeah.
So YOLO, is it the same that you need another phone?
The YOLO box is the same, but you're using physical cameras to connect to it. So that's
you
the
actually
difference
have to
between
plug in.
Yeah. So that's the difference between the two. Is the YOLO box is to use professional cameras because you can get better lenses and stuff like that. Yeah. And because the quality will be better on a video camera on the YOLO box than the switcher.
Okay, so if I'm just doing iPad or my iPhone or my cell phone, I need to go to Switcher then.
Yeah, the Switcher Studio. Yeah, if you already have an iPad and an iPhone, Switcher is definitely the way to go. If you want to use multiple cameras, because a lot of people, like I said earlier, will just use the one camera, and sometimes that's fine. But it's not, especially when you're doing a wedding. You want to put it by the by the rings or whatever. So that's the advantage between the two. Like there's other systems you can get. There's one's called a Mevo, and that one is actually you just buy. It's 3 cameras. There are 3 little cameras you buy, and then you connect it to your iPad. But it's like it was still like $1,100 for that system, and it's the same thing where you can zoom in. It's digital. It's not as good. You're running Wi-Fi. I think the same thing with them. If you want to add like titles, it was an extra $20. There was always like these little extra things. So for me, the thing I love about the YOLO box itself is I actually use it sometimes just to record right here. So if I don't, because there's a lot of editing to do after when you do your show, because you want to sync everything up, put your graphics and all that. But if you're able to do it live with this, why not? Let's get used. It takes some practice to know when to clicking in and out. The first time I thought it was easy, but you gotta really do it a few times. What I suggest a lot of times, do it for free if you can. Like just donate. Just if you want to try it out, and then tell them like, listen, it might work, it might not work. Then you're not gonna have that anxiety.
So is there a way to? Does it accept external hardware for like switching? So like if I were to get like a foot switch to like choose the camera.
Oh, your Bluetooth one there?
So like so something like that. Do either of them allow you to program them? Yeah. Because I know I can do that with OBS with like buttons and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure if they
you can set up macros or something like that.
you can set up macros and change your scenes.
No, not with these. No, this one you're always physically touching the screen to do it, because there's just so many things you can do with it. And that's where you would go with automatic switching in that case, so you don't have to worry about it. I didn't think the switching would be that useful, but I like the fact with this one that you can set it up so that your first camera will be on for like 2 minutes and then the other one for 30 seconds. So it's not always like the mechanical transitions. Because I think she said hers doesn't do it. I'm not sure. I don't know if you guys want to take a little break or not, and then we'll start talking about the audio, or we'll stop it for a bit. All right, welcome back, everybody. And now we're going to start talking about the thing that people don't really worry about too much about streaming, which is the audio portion. And unfortunately is a bigger part, I find, than the actual video stuff. Because the video stuff, you can see right away what it's going to look like. But when you're trying to do audio for somebody else, you never know what you're going to get when you get there. And that's been, when we did some recordings last year, that was always our issue as far as like how to record it. Now, with the YOLO box itself, there's no microphone built into the box whatsoever. So you have to put something in there to do it. With the switcher, you can use the phone itself or the iPad's audio. And I'm not sure, you get a hair in your eye there.
Well, thank you.
And then the band calls me the dad of the band, by the way. And so what was I saying?
We're talking about audio into the switcher. So there's different options that you could do.
Yeah.
So you can do it when you're using switcher. You can use the microphone from the device itself, or you can plug in, depending on the iPad that you have. The iPad that I have is a little bit of an older generation, so I do have the audio jack in there. Yes. And I also have the old school lightning port. Now the newer ones do have a USB-C port and do not have an audio plug-in, so just keep that in mind. But because I have audio, an audio plug-in, am I going into mine?
Yeah, might as well.
Mine as well, okay. So when I first started, I used an iRig. iRigs are very, very inexpensive, very easy to use. Here's the plug-in. Honestly, it was not this bad earlier
keep
today.
Keep it about this height there, just so they can see it.
I accidentally hit that in my car door. Anyways, okay, so here you can plug in a mic or go directly DLX.
XLR. Yeah.
Thank you. he's more audio, I'm more visual. So you can go from like a board to a microphone into here and plug into here. And then on the app itself, you can see what's going on. If it's going into the red, that means it's clipping. If it's going into the red on YOLO, that means it's clipping. We don't want it to clip. We want it to just be touching the yellow.
Yeah.
Now, the iRig has a gain, so that's where you can kind of control how much is going into the iPad to stop it from clipping or to bring it down from clipping.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I upgraded to was using a splitter that plugs into my iPad. Now you can buy the exact same one for USB-C. Mine is a lightning port because I have an older model. In here you have the power, and then you would plug in your USB hub. You want to make sure that your USB hub is powered because what I'm using needs phantom power. Thank you.
Yep. And phantom power is essentially your microphone. Some of the microphones, like in this, I have an example right here, actually, of mic with phantom power. It actually needs a battery, so it needs power. So if you just plug this into a board, you're not going to get anything. So you actually have to have power running it, and the phantom power will give that power to that microphone.
And I'm just going to show you the phantom power that's coming to the iRig because you do need phantom power. The phantom power is actually coming from the battery in the iRig itself. So this is what's powering to get the sound.
Okay. Now, because the audio is like, there's so many things you can do with it. Like I'm going to use this camera right now because I don't have it hooked up on top there. But whenever you go to a bar to do recording or you want to hook up to something, the sound guy's going to have something like this, you know, and there's like a million buttons everywhere trying to hook up and all that. So what you're going to want to do is, like in the back of this thing, well, you guys aren't going to see this there, but in the back of it, there's an XLR output from the board itself. And that's usually, it's a signal that's coming from the board itself without effects. So it's clean, like there's nothing coming out of it. So you're not going to get reverb, delay, and stuff like that. So, but what I've been doing myself, and I'm going to plug this little box. And before we do that,
I love this thing he's about to show.
I want to thank Steve at the Coulson. We know him as
I better take a drink. We're saying Silky Steve.
We know him as Silky Steve. He's the one that did the audio that night, and he helped me out trying to hook up this stuff. So what I did is I ended up creating a little video we're going to put it right at the end of this, and it's going to show you the samples of like going straight out of the board, coming out of this little box I'm going to talk to you about, using the cameras themselves. You know, so you're going to see a difference, so you can judge. You know, is that good enough? Do I want something cleaner and whatnot? So so for example, so what I like to do before I show this one here is like the cable coming out of the board that he would give me. I would hook it up to another small board myself.
At better control.
Yeah, and then what happens here is then you have control of volume because, you know, sound guy's going to be busy all night. He's not going to have time to pay attention to you, to whatever you need. So
Unless you're dating him.
Yeah. And then what you can do is control your gain, and then there's a little EQ in there as well. And the EQ is what controls your tone. So, you know, if you want to put more bass or you want more clarity in your sound, and then you would put your headphones through here to hear what it comes out. And I have to warn you, in the bar, you're not going to hear anything. And you'll cup your ears as much as you can to try to hear it. And I find like if you're streaming, the best thing to do is like do what you can, walk out with somebody else's phone and listen to it outside of the venue.
Or what you can do is, while it's sound check time, you make sure that you're doing your video and your live stream audio sound at the same time. So then you could do the sound check. I don't know what we would call it in today's world when we're incorporating live streaming and video and audio, but we would have to do some kind of a sound check with that. And not even with a band, like if I walk into a venue, typically I say, Okay, I need a sound check on my end. I just need 30 seconds. I just need 30 seconds. And then I do it. I click record. I go back and I check it. If I don't like it, then at least I have a time to see what's going on. It might even be a cable that's not plugged in all the way.
And right now I'm talking about physical connection as well.
Yeah.
So imagine the band's 100 feet from you, you're in the back, they're doing their own sound, because that's happened. Like when we record here at the Hilton,
Yeah.
they have their own sound. So now I have to have a 150-foot cable or a 100-foot cable going around so nobody's going to trip on it. You know, you probably spend $50 in tape, make sure nobody's going to trip on that. So now what do you do? And now I've got this little thing here. It's like my favorite toy. It's called and that's what I actually have running in right now. And I'll put it here because
So I'm wearing one. It comes with 2 mics.
Yeah. So I actually have a second one here.
Yeah, I see that.
And then so here is the actual receiver. So the receiver will connect to your little box or the switcher, because it actually has a little phone connector as well, so you could connect it straight to the phone. And it comes with two actual microphones, and these are lapel mics. So you don't have to put those lavs, the string, and run it through your shirt and all that. The nice thing about this one is you can, this is going to be harder to show now, but it just clips on, so you can just grab it, clip it on your shirt, clip it on your shirt.
I got mine
or
clipped.
the thing I like about it too is it's got a little piece of metal in the back with a magnet, so I can actually just hide it in my shirt, little magnet, and honest to God, it picks up just as good. And I find even if you're outside, it almost kind of like is a windbreaker a bit. And I've tried it with the actual lav mics, and I still find this is better. And the thing I have to mention about this thing, and it saved my butt so many times, there's one time I recorded, there's 2 comedians that were recording. I had the microphone on one comedian, I had it on the other one, but I guess from him touching his chest at some point, he shut off the mic. And it was too far, so I couldn't do anything. So I was only basically recording one guy, but I could hear the other guy anyway still. And the thing I like about this thing is like there's not really any noise, because you can buy some really cheap microphones. And the second you try to bring it up, you get that distortion and the hiss. This thing here, I was able to, and I know it's not going to mean anything to anybody, but I was able to bring it up to 35 dBs, which is an insane amount. That's a lot.
And it was still
And it was
clear.
still clean. And I'm like, yes.
What's it called?
This one here? Oh yeah, I guess. This one's called the DJI mic.
This
and
is the coolest thing. Check it out.
Yeah, and DJI is actually the company that makes drones. That's right.
So you know the little,
That's right. They make everything, and they got they got some good cameras too, and all that stuff. So what I do with this is, so every board has a headphone jack that they would use their headphones to listen to. So I got this little. You still have the other mic, or where's the other mic? You got the other mic, or
I got a mic.
where's the other one?
There's one right here.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Okay. Is that what the comedian was doing?
Did I mention this thing was expensive?
But you got 2.
I got 2. I didn't pay for them, which is.
I mean,
I'm
you
smart.
only got 1 now.
So the thing is, like, whenever you go to a soundboard, they all have a headphone jack out, okay? All of them. And the thing I like about using the headphone jack out is the effects are coming through that as well. So if you're running a band, you really don't want just the clean sound. It's not gonna be as good. But this, you want to kind of get the headphone signal coming out with the effects. And what I did is I got this thing here at Amazon, where it's just a two-way plug. I put a headphone jack adapter on this one thing,
So
and then I use the transmitter here, and I just plug it into the lav thing. You plug that into the board, and I can do sound from 800 feet away.
that is amazing, Leo. And I just want to just pipe in and ask you something, because the issue that I have, like when I'm doing audio for a band, and sometimes when the sound guy is using effects, and I'm going directly out from the board back here, not through the
Yeah, you get nothing.
head jack. It's sometimes if he's using too much effects, it affects the whole live stream.
Yeah.
And the way that it sounds inside doesn't sound outside. The way that it sounds inside the venue doesn't sound the way that it's supposed to on the live stream.
You're competing with all the frequencies and I mean, you could, like I said, you could have the headphones and
So
you
my
know,
question is, if the effects go through the headphones,
Yeah.
if I don't have this device, does that mean I can do that with my Scarlett and plug it directly into
the
that?
headphone, yep.
And then, okay, excellent.
Yep.
So thank you.
Yep.
I'm now.
Yeah, because like usually the headphone will actually have the mix of what's coming out to the front. So what you're kind of hearing live is pretty much what's going to come out. Not going to be perfect. I mean, really the what you would kind of do is, you know how there's always when there's bands playing in the big concerts, there's a guy on the side of the stage and he's got a board as well. Well, those are monitor boards, and so they actually have a separate signal for the band, so for each individual musician. So, you know, if you got the money and the time, you could bring in your own board, plug it into theirs, and then you're basically remixing their stuff. Who's got time? This is like for streaming. You're probably doing this for like a buddy of yours that's not paying you.
Or for
you know,
yourself.
or for a beer that he'll never give you anyways. So, you know, so this is really just, you know, you want to keep it as inexpensive as possible. But like what I did is like I did different examples on that will be right at the end of the video. So there'll be a sample from coming out of the board. There'll be one coming out from just the cameras themselves, you know, because all the cameras have microphones in them and stuff like that. And then you'll get to hear the difference between them. We have the one where Bianca was running around with the phones, and so there's just a bit of the audio from that. So we're kind of showing you the good and the good, the bad, and the ugly type of thing. Just because some people might say that's good enough for me, and then I've done it with this microphone here.
I've
as well.
MacGyvered in situations like that as well, where
Yeah.
you go and the artists,
Yeah.
they don't have an input into their board, so you have to MacGyver. You
Yeah.
make your own. So I don't have a condenser mic.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just use a typical mic, and I'll just
Yeah.
ring it there. But the thing is the quality is not to the best that
Yeah.
it can be compared to coming out of the board.
But I will always have a microphone plugged in anyways.
Oh, there you go.
Every time, because I'm recording, because I have a camera hooked up, like these cameras here, they're more expensive, these ones here, but you'll see that they actually have XLR inputs. So let's say if you don't have, you know, if you didn't have a board like this, you want to kind of keep it simple. You just want to use this thing, so you can plug the microphones in here, and so I'm using that condenser mic through this as a backup. Because trust me, it'll happen. Something will disconnect, break, whatever. And I'd rather have something than nothing. And like, especially if you're live, you know. And because a lot of times something will break it and you can't really. You always monitor your levels on the machine, because that's, if you don't see anything, it means nothing's going on.
Yeah, and you'll see like on both devices where it's hitting green, and Leo's is more hitting yellow. That is what I consider to be the sweet spot. Stay away from the red. The red
Yeah.
will just, you won't get a signal.
That's right.
When you talk about the quality of sound, is there a difference in recording a band and music as opposed to just one or two guys speaking?
Yep.
Like, you know, it sounds like you're more worried about a band and a bunch of all the sound from the band.
Well, the
Just
purpose
one or
for
two guys speaking
yeah.
for either a podcast or a short movie. It's not. Is it not as important, or it sounds important?
well,
but it's not.
Yeah.
You know,
The purpose for today, like he was asking if the importance of sound for bands. Well, the purpose of the video today was for bands. The purpose today for the presentation is for bands to have an idea. But
It could be
this stuff
implemented.
could be used for anything. So right now, Bianca and I have these little mics that I just showed you. So I'm getting, as you're talking to me right now, we're not going to hear that at all on the video. But I do have extra cameras hooked up so that later in post, I can kind of put that in if I want to hear the question. But right now, like as her and I are talking, that's all. You could talk behind us right now and you're barely going to hear what you're saying, because it's just picking up cleanly here. And the nice thing is I'm not getting that noise of the room either, you know, because you can hear music in the background right now. You're not going to hear this in here. And with the software, you can actually clean some of that out as well.
So there was an event that I did back at the Crusoe Club last year, and it was a fundraiser for Ukraine, and there was speakers and bands, lots of stuff going on. And what I actually did, I got the sound guy to give me audio that was coming out to my feed, but I also asked him to put a mic out. Not on the stage, but out into the crowd, so then I can have that ambiance sound. So while the speakers were talking and people were talking also while there was a bidding, you can hear it in the background a little bit, and the sound guy was able to bring that down a little bit. So then the background noise was still a part of that. I needed to do that because I felt like that's how the live stream wouldn't seem so dull and boring and lifeless. And I still wanted that human connection.
Every venue is different.
Yeah.
And the example for this, like, let's say you're doing a little short movie or something like that. I can have a microphone like this and I'm in a car and you're outside the car filming me. Well, you're not going to hear a word I'm saying, but with this, you could I could go outside with this thing right now and you would hear what I'm saying. So it's got like an 800-foot range. So I know it sounds like I'm trying to sell this thing. I am not sponsored by DJI, but when you get a toy that works.
This is an incredible gadget. Like, and I would say it's like.
Well, you can get
kind of affordable.
Well, it's $450 right now, and so it's a lot. But you can get there's other ones you can get for $300 with 2 microphones. But what they did now is they sell it with just 1 microphone. So if you just want to do a podcast for yourself, wirelessly, it's worth it just for that. Yes.
I've tried noise reducing before, and then what it would do was it would take out the background noise, but every time I would finish talking, it would kind of cut my voice off a little bit.
What software were you using?
I was using OBS, I think.
OBS. And that's the thing, like I'm using, I do it more in post after. Post meaning like when I do my edits, because I'm doing it for a separate date. I'm not doing a live feed, so I'll use the software. I use Premiere Pro mostly to do it. You can use audio software that Adobe gives you as well, but there's something about there's a noise denoiser that does such a good job. And like when you turn it on, you see like these graphs kind of like overlapping, and you basically just move the little slider till they kind of just touch.
It's magic. Yeah. I didn't even know about it until I had like this project that I did, and I just thought it wasn't salvageable.
Salvageable, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Very Fringlish here. And Mr. Gadgets over here saved it, and he told me about the.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's so many things about audio that.
Is there a preset in the Adobe mix that you prefer? Like I know you can do like podcast voice.
In Premiere or in the?
Yeah, in Premiere Pro.
I've honestly never used it. I just used the.
There's presets, audio presets.
Oh, you're talking, yeah, because there's presets in Premiere where you can like it'll be more made for music, it'll be made for vocals and stuff like that, and it's basically a bunch of filters and plugins that it uses. Denoiser for the vocals is usually one of them, because you can use a parametric EQ as well. Like an EQ, like I was saying, is like some bass, mids, treble, so it's higher, more crisp and stuff like that. And parametric EQ kind of gives you a little graphic, a little wave that you can like just move around. There's all these plugins that you find out later, and you're like, oh, I wish I had this like years ago. But so anyways, so for the I guess I should show, since we're talking about the box itself, or we're talking about the audio. I'll go back to this. Where am I? I forget how to do this now. Program out. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Okay. So, what was I going to talk about?
How many video sources can you add?
Well, there's actually 3 HDMI.
Yeah, that much.
One USB.
Yeah.
And then you can actually bring in videos as well. That's why there's like 6 of them.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like the exterior digital video sources.
That's right.
Do you know how many you could add?
I think you could put. I think it limits you like for picture-in-picture. There's two images. There's 2. I think with the Switcher Studio, there's way more than this one.
The most phones I've had connected to the Switcher was 5.
So the thing I wanted to show was essentially with the audio. So what happens is with the YOLO box, for example, it has like different setups here. So the first one on top is just called AFV. So that means audio following video. So I have 3 cameras set up. You know, I have that one in the front. I have my microphone on my thing. So if I have a camera 1, 2, and 3, well, right now they're gray because, well, they're just off. But I can just, if it's AFV, it would follow the audio. Like when I switch that camera on, it would be the audio of just that camera. So I don't know why, honestly, you would use that, but I always turn that off right off the bat. And right now, all I have is the line plugged in right now, and that's it. So, and that's recording our vocals through the microphones that we have, the lapel mics right now. So that's just a feature I want to talk about real quickly, because you might have, like I have my laptop plugged in right now as the source here right now, but I could have a presentation playing out of my my Apple, so I could have the audio coming out of that. So then I would just turn my line on and turn the other one off.
I have a quick question. Are you able to bring in guests virtually?
Actually, you can.
Okay,
I'm so glad you asked.
Oh, great, because Switcher you can too. I've never had to do that, but let's just say, you know, if you're interviewing somebody, you just send them their link and they log in through Zoom, and you can add them into your live stream.
Yeah.
So and I guess YOLO you can do that. So a lot of these systems typically have that integrated,
And
which is really nice.
Is there audio or video delay?
For live stuff? Yeah, there is.
Probably.
There definitely is. There definitely is.
So you just deal with it.
So it's kind of like watching CNN. There, you'll see the one guy talking, and he looks like he's like
always like-
frozen. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah.
interrupt you.
Yeah. And then you have Anderson Cooper just over top of him. He's like, not like I watch CNN at all. But
Okay, there.
so much of you. No. So because I guess the question was if there's a delay when you do the live stream. The YOLO box is the actual same thing too. What you would do on here is you basically send a link to the person, and they would call in, and then you could turn them in and off. And the other feature that's kind of cool with these two systems is you can have like social media going on as well.
Oh yes, you
Because I know
can
you were doing it a lot with yours before.
So like when I would have bands playing, especially during the lockdown, I was able to see the comments coming in through the switcher, and I was able to click certain comments and have them pop up into the live stream.
Yeah.
So, you know, oh my God, Bar would comment,
Yeah.
oh my God, my daughter sounds amazing. And then I would highlight
No last
that,
names.
put that there. Oh yeah, sorry. Now you guys know who to search online. But that's really nice. It allows that human connection through your live streams.
Yeah, because you could get to see everything that's going on. I guess you choose. I think with yours, would it just pop up randomly, or you would turn it on?
I
You
would
could control
choose-
it, yeah, because you don't want to have.
Yeah.
Some
And then
random
the
stuff.
other thing too that's really cool with Switcher is that you can actually add a Facebook polling. You can also add a scoreboard.
Yep.
So
For football games for your kids and stuff like that.
you know you're live streaming
Yeah. Yeah, like we said,
a debate.
these things like.
Live Switcher 1.
So these things
YOLO
do a
0.
lot, but we were more concerned about the audio for bands, because that's always been a challenge, trying to get the right audio. You have to get a good set of headphones to make sure you can monitor out. I mean, you can, like the YOLO box has the headphones directly out of there. The switcher does not, though, because you have to do it through an attachment, right?
Okay, so because I have the older iPad that has the audio jack to it, I can. But the thing is, if you're using a microphone, a headset that has a microphone built into it, if you are talking, it's going to go into your live stream. So it's hard to monitor if you don't have something like this. The iRig also doesn't allow you to monitor, even though it shows you a symbol here of a headphone. Doesn't work. You can't monitor.
Yeah.
But at least through the Scarlett, I can monitor my live streams.
Bring the Scarlett here so we can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just going to show you the Scarlett real quick here.
And like a lot of these audio things, before you buy too, you can go to Long and McQuaid and rent these items and see if they work for you before you even buy. And Long and McQuaid is great.
Yeah, so we'll just show the.
No sponsorship.
Were they
Pardon?
Notre Dame?
Yeah.
So this.
They're what used to be called
Yeah, so this is a Focusrite, and it's essentially like a mixer, but you have no controls on tone, mind you, but it's still
But you got your gain.
yeah, you got your gain. So
That's it.
it's a good, it's less expensive than buying a board separately, mind you. That little 4-channel mixer was like $120, I think, or something.
See,
like
in
that.
this item here, when I bought it, I don't know if it's gone down in price, but this Scarlett we paid $199 for. Now, there's another device that I did buy that I'm teaching myself. It's called the Flow 8. It's basically this item here that Leo has, but it's got 3 inputs, and you can control it, and it's also Bluetooth, so you can connect your phone, and while you're live streaming yourself, you can control and do your sound for yourself if you want to. There's tons of devices like that are available, but this I would definitely maybe consider if you are doing more
Yeah.
bands,
Yeah, it's a better way to control
and
it.
if you
I
don't
find.
have a nice sound guy.
Okay.
$100.
I think it was 150. You can get one with 1 channel for the Focusrite, and like we shop on Amazon. It gets pretty inexpensive, but like I think the little 4-channel mixer was like 120.
Yeah, mixers can start at like
Yeah, you could do it without it, but trust me, it's like, especially if a microphone's like too hot, too loud, and you can't get to it, you're better off to just control it from something on your end that you can bring a volume down real quick, because sometimes people might talk too loud, too soft, and you're able to like bring it up and down. I like tactile stuff because as much as I love the little DJI thing, it's this little touch screen on it, so you gotta scroll, slide, scroll, and then it's dark and you can't see anything. At least with that tactile button, you could keep your hand on it all night and just adjust it. Okay, so for the audio, I think we're done because
excellent.
we could talk about. If you guys have more questions after, we'll try to answer what we can. But there's like a million ways to connect these things. We're trying to just show you the basics of what you might have or not have, because there's always a way to hook something up, but you have to test, and see what you're happy with and what your client's happy with. But these are the not more expensive, but
and there's tons of online content out there
Yeah.
with different avenues for how you want to do your sound, and I would definitely recommend going online and educating yourself through that way.
Okay. Now for the part that scares me the most all the time.
This is the part that makes me excited.
Does it? Oh, so yeah. For me, I still prefer to videotape, edit later, then post it.
Not me. I like to go
She
right
likes to
in
go
and
live
go live stream. So there's tons of different ways that you can do a live stream. What I love to do is schedule a live stream. So what I'll do, especially Facebook is a very easy platform to use. You could also do this on YouTube. So you can schedule a live event. So it goes onto your business page, your personal page, onto your channel. Everybody gets a notification. They click attend. You can also do it as a ticketed event. So at our venue, we did a hybrid event with a Sudbury Performance Group called the Colson's Original Showcase. And it was a hybrid event where you could be in person or attend online. And what we did is sell tickets for online. And we actually had viewers. I was quite surprised. I didn't think people were going to tune in, but they actually did. So you could do ticketed live events on Facebook, not on YouTube, but you can schedule it. I would definitely recommend doing this, so then at least that way you have a way to promote your live stream. For me, I hate to do a live stream and then click on my phone and see live 0 viewers. I like to see 100 viewers. So and when you do this, when you go into Facebook, you
I'm
go
gonna,
into
I'm gonna
creating-
cheat a bit with
Okay.
this video as well, because I'm gonna actually link a video on the bottom
Excellent.
where somebody's kind of talking. He's talking more about the YOLO box, but it's a little, because it's very, very technical, and you kind of
Yeah.
need. So he explains it a bit better on connecting,
Yeah.
because.
So basically, he's going to add a video that's going to go right into detail, but I'll make it very simple. You create the online event, public, and then it's going to give you what's called a streaming key. When you have that streaming key, if you don't know much about it, you can go online and do some research about it. But when you have a streaming key, it's basically a URL thing.
It's a web address,
A
essentially.
web address that you copy and paste, and then you would put it into either your YOLO box or into your switcher. And on switcher, it gives you tons of options to go live. So you can do a custom live streaming key, or you can go directly onto Facebook if you already have a scheduled event. So you just open that up, it will load. I don't think it's going to connect because I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi. I'm just connected to my thing, so it's not going
I
to work.
would say this is the part where you really have to test the most ahead of time to connect, because like for example, like chances are if you're going to do an event, you're not going to put it on your Facebook, right? It's going to be the client's Facebook that they'd want to. So now you have to talk to them about getting you connected to their account. I think they can just make you
a moderator.
a moderator.
But if you are an admin, you don't need permission. If it's your own page, you can go live.
Yeah, and so you have to do that ahead of time, because that's the stuff that scares me the most. That I tend to not want to do these because at least I could control stuff after. Whereas live, I'm terrified.
So when I actually make an event that's live, if something happens where it unclicks or I have to cancel the live stream for 30 seconds, it's happened. I just stop the live stream and a notification will come up in the live stream. We'll be resuming. We'll be back soon. And then I can go and click record again. That's that recording button, but really it means going live. So I can go live back into the same event. So it doesn't get shut down and then it's a new live stream. It's the same live stream.
But you could swap to your phone, right?
Yeah,
Like
I could.
if you just, if that something's going on with this, battery dies, whatever, I guess you could pull your phone out and just keep.
You know what? There was an incident where my switcher, my iPad, ran out of juice, and before it died, I had my phone ready. I unclicked it for 30 seconds, and I got it ready on my phone, like my phone as the switcher itself, and I was able to click back into the same live stream. So I was able, it's just like a 30-second intermediate break. That's all.
Yep.
That's all.
That's all. That's all.
So have you tried, is there a way with Switcher to do multi-streaming with multiple
Yes.
stream keys?
Yes.
Yes. The
So
question
I
was
can
for the.
stream from,
yeah.
I can use my Twitch.
Yes.
Also do
Yeah.
Instagram.
The
I'm gonna
question, in
come-
case you didn't hear it, was the if we could do multiple streams of on different platforms, and bien.
And then
It's
also
so
custom.
integrated,
And
too.
also, like, if you have a client that has their website where they want you to live stream on there, because some people do have that, all you need is that stream key, and boom. And you can have it live stream on a website, Google. You can have it on their website, on your Facebook, on YouTube, Twitch.
So I'm going to try to show this on.
Instagram.
I'm going to try to show it on mine here. I'm going to try to stop this because I got two things connected together. Hopefully, it's not going to totally stop it there. So I'm going to stop my recording. Done.
Things
Okay.
like the Elgato do this, but it's like $600.
Yeah.
Is there something more that they do that these don't, or is it just that this technology is caught up to what they were doing?
Yeah, I think these guys are just caught up, because the thing that's nice about these two platforms, and I apologize right now if people can't see our faces there because I'm trying to switch something, but these companies, both of them, update these things constantly.
Oh,
So they'll add features constantly. Before we go too far, I just want to show this because I don't want people to look at this blank screen here.
Anyways, I was shocked. I went on today and there was a new upgrade. I was loving it.
So right now, see the network settings, I think. And then in this particular system here, we could check, with the network tests, you can check the speeds and stuff like that. Technically, I have a table that I'll put up with numbers there. So when you do your test, you want to kind of get at least half of that for it to be worthwhile. Because there's different resolutions as well. 1080p, which is like your TV at home, the flat screens now. 720 is half of that, 720 is half of that. I mean, then there's
480.
480, which is like your old TV, like CRT TV. But the see with the this is
The only thing that will let you live stream in 4K, Switcher won't let you do 4K, is YouTube. Facebook downs it right to 1080p, just so everybody knows.
So right now it's going through a test right now that it's like a speed test for your computer type of thing. Right now it's showing 8.6, but that's the download speeds and all that stuff. So you're supposed to go more to the show more info here, and it's this upload speed that's in gray right now that's you're going to be looking for. So it's averaging at 11, 12 megabytes per second, which is it's okay. So
But typically I get 15. I love 15. Sorry. So this is why a router is important. Like seeing those numbers
Yeah.
are pretty low in my mind.
But
But that's why I love.
I just
having
want
a
to show
router.
here, like the thing about this is like when I start a new project, you have two options. I can create a live stream. That's my one option, and then monitor mode is essentially I'm just using this to record. I'm not using it to stream at all. So if I go to the create live stream right now, I would put my title here. So demo done, and then like she was saying earlier, you can schedule your time that you
In
want.
Switcher, you can do the exact same thing. It's just it's a different layout.
That's right. And then once you create, then you hear, and I'm trying to find, there's a spot for, oh, right here. So now, because I'm setting it up to live stream, I have the platforms right now. You can also add separate platforms right now. So if you already know your passwords for YouTube or you have a channel, you do it now. You can I think you can do, it depends on your bandwidth, but you can do 4 or 5 multiple streams on different platforms. But then, of course, it's gonna. But this company here, it goes to their server to do it, whereas with this, you're doing it right off your machine. And so I tried yesterday. I opened up a channel on my YouTube account. I thought, well, I'm gonna test this before the presentation tomorrow. You gotta wait 24 hours for the thing to be active. So if you're gonna create a channel, do it a couple of days before, so you know ahead of time, and then you can test it for private or public. Nobody's connected to my system right now, so if I hit go live, I'll be able to go to my channel later.
Telling you to select a platform.
Oh yeah, duh. Didn't it do it?
You did. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
there
now it's on. So like right now, I don't have Facebook or Twitch hooked up, but I would do that way ahead of time, and again try to test it to make sure you're getting signal. So again, we're not going to go too deep in this because.
Will I be able to see it now from YouTube?
Yeah, if I could remember what it was called.
Yeah, right.
It's on my channel, Leo Duquette, and I think I had a channel called Streaming.
And Switcher, you could do the same thing. You could
go
just
live.
record, or you can go live. So you just go at the bottom if you just want to record it for yourself. You just click none, you click record, and it would record for yourself. And then the nice thing too, it doesn't actually save onto your device. It actually saves in the Switcher itself. So yeah, for some reason I like that.
Yeah, I didn't try to connect myself to see if it worked. Trust me, it works. Okay, I think that's about it. Yeah, that's the live streaming portion of it because, like I said, you could go forever on this stuff. They actually have like four-hour videos on this stuff.
So basically, just to make it really easy, before you go live,
Test.
just test your megabytes. Also, make sure there's a caption, and double check where your live stream is going, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Oh, I also forgot. Before you do all of those steps, make sure you do a video and audio check.
Yes.
So don't go live. Do a recording. Check the recording in a quiet space.
Yep.
And you should be confident. Yeah.
That's right. Thank you so much to everybody for coming over. I hope we didn't drone on too long there, but and we'll open up the floor for questions. We're not going to record this portion there, so you guys come over, look at some stuff, ask more questions.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming out, guys.
Bye.
This is foolish. I'm just trying to get to know myself a little better than you know me. Yeah. Is it true? One, two, three. The way you get into my brain, no, I don't wanna feel that pain like you used to do it. And you just got me nervous when you always know what I'm thinking before I even get a chance to say a single word of. I shouldn't have gone in and start digging and digging and digging. My head says that I should put up a fight, even when my Even